Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to give you a forecast for the fall of 2016, but from a little bit of a different perspective. We're going to talk about things from a generational astrology perspective. What that means is during certain years, the outer planets, I'm going to talk about Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, they were in certain signs for long periods of time. And the reason why is because the outer planets, they have a lot slower orbit than the closer planets that, rotate closer to the sun, like Venus and Mercury. They stay pretty close to the sun. The sun only stays in a sign for about 30 days, and the moon moves even faster than that. It's only every 2.5 days that it, stays in the sign and then changes signs. But these outer planets that we're going to talk about, they were in signs for years, like long periods of time. And the effects of them, since they're so out there, far out there, whenever any transiting planets that are currently transiting in those same signs right now as the outer planets that you had in your chart when you were born, they bring out like a little bit of an outer worldly type of feeling to you and to your personality and to your days during those periods of time. So we're going to talk about Neptune in Scorpio, Sag, and Capricorn generation, also Uranus in those signs, and also Pluto in those signs, and the current planetary activity that's going on that may hit those planets in your chart, okay, and your personality, and what it's going to bring out of you during this time if you were born within those generations. So first we're going to start with Neptune, and actually Neptune is the planet that rules dreams, and it's one of the energies that rules spirituality. It also rules being out of touch with reality. It's one of the furthest away planets. It rules the sign of Pisces. So if you know any Pisces, you know how they can be, quote unquote spacey, space cadets. They're pretty out there. They're really in tune with music and dance and art and movies and anything that gets you out of like the earthly realm, okay? So that's the planet Neptune. It also rules compassion for other people. And on a negative side, it can rule not setting any boundaries between yourself and another person. So it's dissolvement of boundaries. It's also dissolvement of energy and vitality if certain planets come in contact with Neptune. It's a very dreamy, romantic energy as well. So Neptune in Scorpio generation, if you were born between the end of 1955 until about January of 1970, so about Christmas Eve 1955, January 1970, there's some times in between there where Neptune went into Libra, but you'd have to look it up, and I'll put a link below to the website where you can go and see exactly when Neptune was in the sign of Scorpio to see if this affects you. But anyway, if you were born between those times, about 1955, 1970, you may have had Neptune in Scorpio in your birth chart when you were born. So the sun is going to hit your Neptune this month. Up until the 21st, the sun will be in Scorpio. Sun has been in Scorpio since October 22nd, 23rd-ish. So a lot of people born in that generation, your vitality could be dissolved during this time when you feel a little extra tired and burned out, and you may feel a little bit more introverted, like you need to go within and maybe just spend some time at home alone. Spend some time just kind of getting lost in like music and, watching movies and just whatever you do to get out of touch with reality. I would say be very careful with overdoing it with anything like substances that help you to escape reality, like prescription drugs, illegal drugs, alcohol, because Neptune does rule, unfortunately, those methods of escaping reality too. But this is a very dreamy time. But yeah, your vitality may be dissolved with the sun hitting that Neptune. So Mercury is in Scorpio until November 12th, and Mercury is our mind and our communication and our thinking processes. So your thinking can be kind of cloudy and foggy when, during Scorpio season while Mercury is there. So, you need to be careful with driving and operating machinery and doing anything that requires a lot of like logic and cold hard facts, and your thinking processes are going to be like I said, kind of clouded, and you may be daydreaming a lot and not wanting to be like, if you work an office job, for example, you're gonna have a lot of like brain fog, okay? And it may be hard to stay in touch with the mundane stuff. You may want to be dreaming about like escaping to another place, like maybe to travel somewhere to another country, or just really not being where you are. You may be having your mind go further out for, that time being. So that's up until the 12th of November. So if you're born in the Neptune and Sagittarius generation, like me, Neptune was there from January 1970 until about November 1984. Once again, there's time periods in between where Neptune went back and forth between Scorpio and Sag, so you may want to check your birth chart and check out the website that I have posted up as well. So Venus in November 2016 is going to be in the sign of Sagittarius until the 12th of November. And Venus is love and beauty and romance, and Venus is also how you enjoy yourself, enjoy the five senses, whatever you taste, touch, smell, feel, and hear. Venus coming in contact with Neptune, there's a few things that can happen. One, you can fall in love or have the perception of being in love with someone, being lost in love, because once again, Neptune dissolves boundaries between you and another person. And if Venus rules one-on-one relationships, well, hey, those boundaries can be dissolved. I would say be very careful of the portal being open to the past and dissolving boundaries that way with Neptune, with Venus coming in contact with your Neptune, or being a little too free with yourself, especially if you're in a relationship. Boundaries between yourself and other people can be dissolved during that time, and it can be harder for some people to be faithful within my generation. So watch out with that, honey. But this is also enjoyment. So maybe just if you're in a relationship, getting lost in fantasy with the person that you're committed to can be a lot of fun. Or Neptune, like I said, rules music and dance and art and, all those Piscean, like floaty, artsy things. So maybe getting lost in music. Like I know, for example, myself, Venus is like right on my Neptune right now as I'm filming this. And Neptune actually rules the oceans and the seas. And I'm wearing this shirt, it says mermaid, because this is the exact conjunction happening for me today as I'm filming this. And I really do feel like it is harder to stay in touch and grounded in reality. So I really have to be conscious of that and really work to ground myself. And, I work a mundane 9-to-5 job in a cubicle, so I can't just float off and wander off and just listen to music all day. But I have had my moments of just wanting to be alone, just listening to music. Driving around and listening to music is really great for us this time when Venus comes in contact with our Neptune, for the Neptune and Sag generation. Also on the 12th of November, Mercury will move into Sagittarius and be there until December 2nd. So for us, that is our brain fog, brain cloudiness time of year. And it can be harder to focus on the mundane tasks and regular like 9-to-5 job stuff, or organization and management of anything to do with paperwork, or like stuff to do with logic. Pretty much, it requires a lot of logic. It's going to be hard to focus on. Now, for those of us that are maybe involved in some sort of artistic endeavors or something creative, or maybe a creative career, when Mercury comes in contact with our Neptune, Mercury is also skills of the hands, okay? So if you, for example, are an artist born in the Neptune and Sag generation, this transit can help you to use your hands a lot more towards, playing instruments, if that's what you do, or creating music like you're a producer, or if you're a songwriter, because that's thinking and writing. And then there's Neptune, which helps you to dream up and escape reality and really come up with some like super creative stuff, really dreamy music. It's like the lyrics will just come to you if you're a songwriter. The music will just flow from you if you're an artist or something, or even if you're a dancer in a type of a dance that requires quick movements or movements of the hands. When the Mercury transits over your Neptune right now, this is really going to give you the advantage with just the movements flowing, like really feeling the music, not just hearing and going 1, 2, 3, okay, 1 and 2 and 3. No, you're just going to naturally feel the music and how you're supposed to move to it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to this annual dance event that's local that this b-boy crew throws here in my hometown. It's always this time of year during the Scorpio and Sag season. So some of the best like talent comes out during this time to really showcase their best skills, and I'm so looking forward to it. I always get so lost outside of reality when I go to this event and just really feel the music and really feel the movements of the people dancing along along with them. So this should be a really awesome time for dancers and artists, with Mercury transiting over our Neptune in Sag. So the sun will move over our Neptune in Sagittarius starting on the 21st of November until about the 21st of December. So this is a time when our vitality can kind of decrease and our energy levels can decrease, and we may feel like sleeping a lot longer. For my Neptune and Sag people, you know, this is dissolvement of the ego. So this can be a time where, you know, it's the time of year, and especially the United States and maybe in the UK, where we celebrate certain holidays, where people give out to the homeless, give out to the poor. And it's a very compassionate time of year, or you give gifts. And, you know, you need to be careful, especially my generation, Neptune and Sag, of people taking advantage of you, because this is dissolvement of boundaries. This is fog, you know, so we may not be seeing people as clearly as we should or as we normally would in other times of the year. So people can come begging to us, and then we can be like, oh, you know, because Neptune is compassion, we can really feel a deep compassion for them and just give maybe even a little too much, or let people run all over us, or, you know, snatch away our self-worth, our self-esteem. Don't let that happen to you guys, okay? I will try my hardest to ride along with you. But yes, definitely try to get some more sleep. You may need to set your alarms like back a little bit, you know, because you're going to be like, it's going to be harder to wake up in the morning, okay, for a lot of us. So that's the sun hitting our Neptune and Sag from November 21st until about December 21st. For the Neptune and Capricorn generation, you guys were born between about November 21st, 1984 until about November 27th, 1998. And once again, there's periods in between there where Neptune went back and forth between Sag and then Aquarius and Capricorn, so it switched around a little bit. So once again, look up your birth chart, and also look up the link to drstanley.com that I put down below to see where your Neptune is, if it's in Capricorn or not. On the 12th of November, Venus moves into Capricorn, and she will be there until December 7th. So from the 12th of November to December 7th, this is dreamy time for Neptune and Capricorn generation people to really, really get in touch with the arts and music and in love. This is the time where you guys can kind of perceive yourselves as falling in love, losing touch with reality, even though Capricorn is an energy of being really in touch with reality, like strict rules and all that stuff. Neptune in Capricorn dissolves some of that stuff and challenges it to, you know, look at things from a different perspective instead of just a tried and true. So Venus moving over your Neptune, very dreamy time. Enjoy time alone. Enjoy time near water. Also enjoy time watching movies, listening to music. Watch out for meeting people that you think of them as being a certain way, or being even a certain person, having a certain name, and then you may be deceived by them and find out once the Neptune fog lifts after December 7th, hey, this person, they lied about their age, they lied about their name, they lied about this, they lied about that. That happened to me during a Neptune transit. I fell in love, and this person turned out to be completely different than who I thought they were. They lied about a lot of stuff. So just watch it with that. But it is a very dreamy, spiritual time. Enjoy some time with the person you love, escaping off into La La Land together. So that's Venus hitting your Neptune from November 12th until December 7th. So the sun will be in Capricorn from about December 21st until about January 19th of 2017. So for my Neptune and Capricorn generation, the sun hitting your Neptune, once again, for you guys too, this drains your vitality a little bit. Your energy levels may be low. You may need more rest, more sleep, more relaxation, and just spending more time alone in solitude to kind of, you know, just do nothing. Just be still and do nothing, okay? And I know it's hard for Capricorn energy to just do nothing, because it's a sign of hard work, dedication, career, social status, all that good stuff. But this may be a time where you're just like, oh, I just can't get it together. I just can't do life. Now, Mercury moves into Capricorn in conjunction with your Neptunes from December 3rd until January 4th, but it's going to be retrograde, okay? So Mercury retrograde over your Neptune, oh my gosh. that's even more like kind of confusion and brain fog and stuff. So your generation really needs to watch out for that during those dates. So Mercury is going to be retrograde, move back into Sagittarius for a little bit. Then on January 13th, going to move back into Capricorn and be there until February 8th. So from January 13th to February 8th as well. Pretty much December, January, and the beginning of February, Mercury will be hitting your Neptune at certain points in time. So brain fog, brain cloudiness, trouble with doing the mundane, the routine. So just, work really hard to stay grounded in reality. Maybe like be conscious of and mindful of like those dates to know that you're going to have to work really extra hard to be able to do tasks and keep track of things and keep track of time. Neptune energy does not care for time. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, aka Kronos, aka Father Time. So it can be difficult for everybody who has Neptune transits as far as Mercury hitting it, especially, and the Sun. Be very difficult for us to keep track of time. And this could be a time of year where you see a lot of people, especially of your own generation, being late for work and, oh, I lost track of time. Oh, I slept through my alarm. I went the wrong way during traffic and I got lost on a detour. All that type of stuff happens during this time of year. So definitely be very careful and try to be more focused when driving and traveling. But once again, Mercury combined with Neptune, if you're in a creative field, this is excellent time for some of your best creative work to come out. So really take advantage of the energy that way. Now, if you were born in the Neptune and Aquarius generation, there's some of you that may be out there watching and into astrology and watching my channel, but you guys are fairly young. Actually, some of you are about 18 years old because Neptune was in Aquarius from January 1988 until about February 3rd, 2012. So back and forth between, Neptune in Aquarius, Capricorn, Pisces, So once again, check the dates to see when Neptune was in Aquarius for you. Sorry, there's a bug flying. For your generation, Mars is going to enter your Neptune sign on November 9th. Remember, Mars, the circle with the arrow, direction and drive, and your direction drive, once it runs into Neptune, it's gonna like dissolve and be like, where am I going? What am I doing here? I don't remember where I was going. So be very, very careful of that. And this is a transit that is going to affect you guys from November 9th until December 19th of 2016. On December 7th, 2016 until January 4th of 2016, Venus will be hitting your Neptune for Neptune in Aquarius generation. So once again, very dreamy energy. Watch out with not seeing people for who they really are, especially if you're single and dating. Also, this is very creative energy if you're in a creative field, and a great time to spend time by water, spend time alone in solitude, just enjoying yourself, watching TV, doing absolutely nothing, surfing the net. Listening to music. There's so much time, so many things that you can do to kind of retreat and spend time alone and take time away from, schedules and everyday routine stuff, and just really enjoy like floating, okay? Because Neptune, remember, it rules the ocean. So you need time to just kind of float and enjoy yourself by floating. Then Venus transiting over your Neptune during this time will really, really bring that out of you. From January 20th, 2017 until February 18th, 2017, the Sun will come in contact with your Neptune for the Neptune in Aquarius generation. This will dissolve your vitality a bit and make you guys kind of more sleepy, more tired, more like, oh, I don't want to get up, I don't want to do regular stuff, it's hard for me to do life. Now, this Neptune and Aquarius stuff that I'm talking about, if you're not born in this generation, maybe you have children that are younger that are in this generation, this is going to be time periods, so mark these dates down that I'm mentioning to you guys for Neptune and Aquarius. If you had kids that were born between 1998 and 2012, I surely do. I have two of them. They will probably be more out of touch with reality, be more creative, maybe want to spend more time alone, and maybe just want to sleep in a little bit more, and their brains are going to be kind of foggier during these transits. So you just have to try to have a little more patience with them with doing everyday routine stuff, keeping up with their homework, keeping up with their chores. They're kind of going to be a little bit lost during that time and not fully focused on those things. So they're going to need a little bit more help, a little more structure. I know it's going to be hard not to yell at them like, oh my God, what has gotten over you? But this is what's gotten over them, is their Neptune is being hit. So it's being, brought out, that Neptune energy of just floating in outer space or in the ocean, and that's how they feel. So it's only a short term, okay? So try to have patience. I will too. Okay, right along with you parents. Try to have the patience and try to help them with staying grounded. Remind them a lot. Try not to nag. I know it's hard, but they'll need a lot more reminders. Maybe if a lot of them have cell phones now, set some reminders on their phones to go off for certain things. You know, hey, if they have medication, take your medication at this time. Homework, hey, alarm going off for homework, and so on and so forth. So they'll just need a little bit more assistance during the times when the sun is transiting over their Neptune. Now, so we're going to talk about the Uranus generations. Uranus, Uranus, all the same thing, tomato, tomato, whatever. So Uranus is that planet that rules the out of the box and the out of the ordinary and the weird and the strange, okay? It's also just kind of doing things against the norm and the routine and the usual. It's very unusual energy. Uranian energy, it likes to just think of people who have a lot of piercings and tattoos, and they dye their hair different colors all the time. A lot of times they have a heavy Uranus influence, or the sign that Uranus rules, which is Aquarius. So, you know, this type of energy, when there's transits to Uranus, it brings that out of people. They want to do things differently. They don't want to follow the crowd. They want to maybe make drastic changes in their lives, because Uranus is an energy that rules like sudden drastic changes that are like almost unrecognizable when they're done, or they are still somewhat recognizable. It's like, wow, you changed a lot. You're doing things really different with your hair, girl. Oh, you dyed it rainbow color. Oh my gosh. Oh, you got both sides of your nose pierced. Oh, that's unique and different. It is that energy of just being unique and different and, you know, a little special and not really wanting to do what everybody else is doing. For the Uranus and Scorpio generation, which I belong to as well, that means you were born anywhere between November 22nd, 1974 and about November 16th, 1981. So during Scorpio season, planets are going to be hitting our Uranus. Scorpio, don't think of that in a perverted way, okay? But planets are going to be hitting that planet for us, bringing out more of an out-of-the-box energy for us. During November, up until November 21st, the sun will hit Uranus and Scorpio for us in our birth charts. And the sun is our expression and our ego. So during this time, you know, especially when it gets closer to the degrees that Uranus was in Scorpio in our own chart. Say, for example, your Uranus in Scorpio is at like 22 degrees, right? You were born in maybe the late 70s, early 80s. When the sun hits about 22 degrees Scorpio, you're really going to be feeling this energy that's like antsy and anxious for change, like drastic change, or like, I just feel like doing some random stuff right now, man. Like, I just want to randomly go out and like get some piercings, or I just want to go out and just, you know, just do something that's totally unexpected of me. This is also a really good energy for creative expression. If you're in a field or a profession that allows that creative expression, sun going over your Uranus and Scorpio is a really, really excellent time to bring more of that like creative genius stuff out of you, because Uranus is an energy of the creative genius, the inventor. You know, it's that light bulb, aha, eureka moment of like flashes of insight. When it comes to how we're expressing ourselves during the sun in Scorpio season, it can be a little bit out there and a little bit, you know what, this is me and I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Like my mother-in-law says in her like wonderful, hilarious accent, I don't care, okay? I don't care. Mercury is going to be in the sign of Scorpio until November 12th and cross over our Uranus for Uranus and Scorpio generation. And when this happens, Mercury is our thinking processes, it's our mind, it's logical thinking and all that good stuff. So what happens when Uranus comes in contact, or Mercury comes in contact with Uranus, it's like flashes of insight and ideas that you get all of a sudden. Like if you work in a cubicle boring job, right? You can all of a sudden get ideas of all this different stuff, or like insight into things. Like you've been wondering and curious about something for a long time, and then all of a sudden you get like, oh my gosh, now I remember, or now I know. Like, and you could be at work when this is happening. Like, it's really hard to focus on like regular 9 to 5 stuff during this time. Trust me, I know all about it. I'm going right through it, right with you guys of this generation. But if you're in a field that's like technological or is creative, then this is skills of the hands too, so you can really come up with some of your best work, or you can really be a lot more processing data, or, you know, doing different things with your hands with technological devices with a lot more ease during this time. And like I said, it's just creative genius stuff, man. I mean, we can really start being super like Einstein creative geniuses with our work around this time. But like I said, if you work a mundane job, you're going to be zapped with ideas all the time. But don't worry, because Mercury moves very quickly. So this is only until the 12th of November.